So fancy neighborhoods, mainly the playground of Mercedes, Porsche, and even Bentley. But back in 1999, there was a new sheriff that came to these parts. One that was more than just about brand. One that changed the entire size of how privileged rugrats were transported to overpriced preschools. Now fast forward 15 years later, and there's a new sheriff in town once again. But in this case, the new boss, same as the old boss. So before setting out to build the 2015 Escalade, Cadillac owners told Cadillac, we want a truck first and a Cadillac second. So they built this. Granted a truck, but a very fancy one. Inside, the story is exactly the opposite. It is Cadillac first and truck second. Just look at it. It looks like most every other Cadillac on the market today. But like the new CTS, the build quality is substantially better than anything that came before it. Just look at the dash top and the cut and sew. But more importantly, in places you wouldn't see it. Like here on the side of the dash where the door panel covers it, look at this seam here. The material feels like something that would be on top of the dash, not on the side of the dash. Even down here, this lower door panel, this is something that's high quality plastics, and it's differentiated into something where you can put your phone here with felt, and not one, not two, but 3 large bottles. The overall effect, definitely a Cadillac first. So let's talk some bullets and numbers. 403 horsepower, 417 pound-feet of torque. That's the old Escalade. The new Escalade, 420 horsepower, 460 pound-feet of torque. Now, it's always great to say the numbers go up, right? Well, in the reality of this case, 6,000 pounds, that's another number I have to give you. 6,000 pounds with 403 horsepower. I mean, I can't say that the last Escalade was slow, but this Escalade now has a get up and go. And that translates, according to Cadillac at least, to a sub 6 second 0 to 60 in basically your family living room. And then there's the obvious question. What's the difference between a Tahoe, a Yukon, a Suburban, and an Escalade? Turns out the list is pretty long, and it's more than just a pillar forward in the headlights. It's things that go beyond the skin, like active grille shutters. Believe it or not, they improve the fuel economy on an Escalade. Then there's more sound deadening equipment in the firewall and on all 4 doors. And then there's the suspension, magnetic ride control. Yes, the Suburban, Tahoe, and Yukon all have magnetic ride control. This one is a 2-mode setup, so it has a sport setting for all those times you're going to take your Escalade whipping around corners. And the last most important difference is the cruise control. It's an active system where it takes into account the car in front of you, so in stop and go traffic, the car will do all the work for you rather than your feet on the pedals. And what's more is the Cadillac integration, like you feel like you're in a different vehicle. Granted, there are some things that I'd want to change, like this gear shift. I mean, this feels like it's something from 1984. I mean, come on, let's put the thing down here. I know you lose a cup holder. I mean, I can do without the big gulp. I'd rather have the shifter down here. It just makes me feel more like I'm in control of the vehicle than like my mother's 1974 Buick by having the shifter up here. So those of you that have been watching the show for a while know I'm a major convertible guy. Granted, this ain't a convertible. It is an Escalade, and translated to Escalade speak, you would think this would be a panoramic sunroof by now. Turns out there's a reason why, and it all has to do with weight. The engineers were telling me that with a body-on-frame vehicle, it is a 6,000 plus pound vehicle. To add in the glass, the mechanism for the glass, and all the structural enhancements for it, you're talking 6,500 pounds. So really GM, and if you notice in the Infiniti, they both do this type of smaller sunroof. Because they wanted to avoid the weight differences to put a fancy skylight for your kids. Oh, by the way, we saw a very cool Vista Cruiser driving past us, and here we are in a brand new 2015 Escalade, and we all saw this like maybe 1965 Vista Cruiser. I'm like, we want to get in that thing. But I digress. Me personally, you're already at 6,000 pounds. What am I getting, 15 mpg? Why don't we go with panoramic roof? I think we're at that point. So a show of hands here. How many of you have seen Escalade owners take their Escalades off-road? I'll take that as a no. How many of you have seen Escalades in fancy neighborhoods like this? So if we just get it out on the table that the fact is these things live their lives in fancy neighborhoods, then where does magnetic ride control fit in? Isn't magnetic ride control designed for Corvettes to go around tracks? Well, yes it is. But here's a new application. There are two settings here. There's a Tour and a Sport. Now you would think you'd want to go around town in Tour, but actually you don't, and here's why. By putting it in Sport mode, even around a town like this, let me tell you, Low Country, South Carolina, nice place. By putting it in Sport around here, and here I am going around a very nice little neighborhood. There's a river over there, the ocean's over that way. There's no pitch, squat, dive, roll in a 6,000 pound vehicle. It's almost as if it hides 1,000 pounds and you're driving a large sedan instead of a large SUV. So I'm driving around beautiful downtown Palmetto Bluff, and I am not joking. It is a stunning place. If you guys have never been here before, you absolutely have to check it out. Which is also a good point for me to tell you about the 3 trim levels of this vehicle. There's the standard model, there is the luxury model, and then there's this one. This is the premium, which basically has everything. The fancy sunroof, the TV, the better wood, better leather, just a whole bunch of stuff. But wait, there's more. There's going to be a platinum model. Remember, there was a platinum in the last one? And basically what that did gave you even fancier interior, better wheels. So I would say for the future platinum model, let me make a suggestion. How about fancier wheels, maybe a supercharged engine like a V version, and then a panoramic sunroof and an executive package in the back. Actually, that is a good point. We talked about the executive package, and Cadillac actually has a number of upfitters that build them aftermarket rather than do it in-house like Porsche, Mercedes, and all those guys. But I think the future platinum model should have the executive rear seats, with massage and everything like an airplane, bigger wheels, more powerful engine, and definitely panoramic sunroof. Deal? So in order to sum this all up, I need to take you guys a bit behind the scenes here. I've been to a lot of car launches in my time. I've met a lot of chief engineers, chief designers, and product managers, but I have never seen a group of people so excited about the vehicle they're launching than these guys. For example, the global product manager of this car, he has been with Cadillac for 29 years. He has been the product manager on the Escalade for 14 of those years. That's 3 generations. The chief engineer of Cadillac, he's been there for 37 years. The guy who tuned the suspension and make the car drive like this, he's been there for 28 years. And you would think it's counterintuitive. Guys that have been there so long, they would be kind of checked out. But actually, that is the furthest thing from the truth. You would swear when you're talking to any one of these guys that you were in the waiting room of a hospital awaiting their respective firstborns. And that's why this car is so important. It's not because there's more power, magnetic ride control, or better materials on the inside. It's because the people building it, this is the one they finally want to build. It's the way they want it to look, it's got the materials they want to use, and most importantly, it's the one they want to drive. Okay, so here's the script. For a new Motoman film every week, click subscribe. And to get a sneak peek of what's coming up on the show, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, Motoman TV, all one word.